Hello everybody. So it is about 11:05 p.m. on February 9th, 2021. So I just got back from a meeting with ABATE of Wisconsin, Region 1A. And it's my first meeting back there since November. I skipped December and I skipped January for some personal reasons. And it was a pretty good meeting. Lot we talked about. We talked about Lobby Day coming up on March 11th, 2021, also known as Biker Day, where we're going to be meeting at the Wisconsin State Capitol and meeting with our legislators, something that ABATE of Wisconsin does every single year. So we talked a little bit about that. We talked about some things even after the meeting. I think that I'd be a really good speaker when it comes to a lot of this stuff that goes on, especially legislative stuff, because I have a background with speaking with elected officials. Ever since 1994, when I had to write elected officials as a school project. And I've been doing it ever since. I've been talking with elected officials ever since then, and I'm actually really good at it now. Which I'm thinking about getting involved as an officer with the legislative unit of ABATE of Wisconsin. Particularly because ABATE of Wisconsin is important, and it's important that we protect our motorcycle rights. And speaking on the legislative half about what we would like from other people, safety, which is why we do the Share the Road program, teaching the younger generation who are just getting their driver's license in school, what to look for with motorcycles, looking twice to save a life, other things like that. So safety is a thing. Also, one of the issues we were discussing is these vehicles that drive by themselves, these autonomous vehicles. And apparently, based on what I've heard today, to me it seems like the United States government and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation and the U.S. Department of Transportation has their minds made up that they want to do these autonomous vehicles that drive by themselves. And the problem is with these is there's already all kinds of accidents. There's quite a few companies out there who've been involved in accidents, such as Tesla. And there was a case that was brought to my attention today where a truck driver's load broke and he went out to fix his load, and a self-driving vehicle that was owned by Tesla hit this driver and killed this truck driver, because its sensors, its AI, artificial intelligence, did not sense him there, did not see him there. The passenger in the back seat of this vehicle, this automated self-driving vehicle, was a state senator who claims that they did not see anything. So apparently they're looking down at their phone, is my guess. Come to find out later that the state senator either has stock that they own in this company or something to do with the parts for this company. But either way, for whatever reason, they're not putting the fault of this on the company when it should be. Now, these self-driving vehicles are dangerous, okay, especially with this artificial intelligence, AI, because let's say you have a situation, okay, and this is the way a lot of these vehicles are programmed. Let's say you have a situation where you have a couple pedestrians on the sidewalk with a bicyclist. You have a tree over here. You have a vehicle in front of you. You have a motorcycle in front of you, or off to the side of you. Well, the way these vehicles are programmed, they're not going to hit the pedestrians on the sidewalk because it's programmed that that's a concern. It's not going to hit the tree because of the passenger in back of the vehicle that the self-driving car is carrying. The car in front of you slams on their brakes, okay? It's not going to hit the car in front of you because, let's say they have a group of people in there. So they're not programmed correctly to see a motorcycle. So most likely what would happen is these vehicles would hit a motorcycle and a motorcycle rider. Now, I'm firmly against self-driving vehicles. I don't care for them. I think the first time I've ever seen a self-driving vehicle was probably in the movie Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Takes place back in 1994. Obviously, we didn't really have self-driving vehicles back then, but they're getting them now. Self-driving vehicles, regardless of what company they're from, are a danger. Not just to pedestrians, but to motorcycle riders everywhere. Even more is they want to come out with these self-driving trucks, which they're already doing. They're doing it out in California and other states. And it's bad enough when you got a 60 or 70,000 ton vehicle coming at you and you're on a motorcycle. And now they want to have these vehicles, these semis, drive by themselves. Okay? Now these vehicles are programmed by people, okay, which means vehicles can make a mistake too. I think, based on my opinion and everything I've read about safety and track records with these things are not safe at all. Not self-driving vehicles, not self-driving trucks, and personally, I don't think we need them. I think you need to keep a person in the loop, a person driving the vehicle, not some machine, not some programmed AI. And sadly, our elected officials don't care. 95 to 98% of our elected officials just don't care. You know why? It's all about the money. You get kickbacks from these companies, you get kickbacks from places that endorse these companies. You know, it's all about their contributions. It's all about, you know, them winning another election. It's basically, it's a power trip type deal. The longer in office they are, the more money they make, the more power they have. And when they lose an election, they no longer have that power. They no longer have that authority. They no longer have that money that comes through the PACs and all kinds of stuff. And this is why I really think that I should either run for Congress or I should run for senator. Because somebody has to go to Washington and clean up the corrupt politicians in office who just don't care anymore. They don't care about people's safety. They don't care about all kinds of things. And when it comes to motorcycle rights, a lot of them just don't care. Did you know, even when it comes to motorcycle profiling, there's only 7 states, and the state of Washington is the first state to ban motorcycle profiling, to ban police officers from motorcycle profiling. Now, I've worked in the law enforcement field before in the past, and I worked with a couple different agencies in the law enforcement field. And I will tell you right out that I am firmly against motorcycle profiling in all of its points, whether it's from a police standpoint or from a civilian standpoint. You know, people who get profiled, especially by police officers or law enforcement officers, let me put it in this language, okay? When a law enforcement officer pulls you over, okay, even if it's a legitimate stop, let's say you have a tail light out, okay, they pull you over, okay, they may have cause because let's say your tail light's broken or something, it's out, okay, they have the cause to pull you over there. But once they start asking you about your motorcycle business, you know, whether you belong to a club or not, they start asking you, well, what's this patch mean? What'd you get this patch for? That's none of their business. That goes beyond the traffic stop, and that is now motorcycle profiling, which in 7 states is illegal now. We're trying to get made illegal here in Wisconsin, which it should be because there's a lot of motorcycle profiling that goes on, especially with the sheriff's office up by Tomahawk. Okay, and that was in the newspapers, and that was online, you know, last year and the year before. So, with this being said, you know, let me give you another example, okay? There's been cases of motorcycle riders who aren't even affiliated with a club. You know, they're pulled over for some reason, whether legitimate or not, and the officer says, well, they'll let that person go if they agree to remove their shirt so that they can photograph all their tattoos. That is motorcycle profiling, okay? When a law enforcement officer says that they'll only let you go if you can remove your shirt and they can photograph all your tattoos, no, That's motorcycle profiling, okay? And that needs to be against the law. Now, another thing too is police officers who profile motorcycle riders like to sit outside places that motorcycle riders frequent. They like to run their plate numbers, their VIN numbers. They like to run the serial numbers on their bikes to see if all the parts match. You know, there's a lot of motorcycle profiling going on. Now, like I said, I've worked in the law enforcement field before, okay? Believe me, I've seen many different tactics used in law enforcement and the way these academies train their officers to do this stuff. This needs to stop, okay? It really does. We need laws here in Wisconsin to prevent motorcycle profiling. And motorcycle profiling isn't just from a police standpoint. I've never been profiled by a law enforcement officer before for riding a motorcycle, okay? Now, I have been profiled by civilian people who don't ride, or they just assume that you're part of a biker club because you are wearing motorcycle apparel. Now, regardless of whether you ride or not, you know, somebody getting profiled because they're wearing a leather motorcycle jacket, you know, that should be unconstitutional too. That should go with, you know, be considered harassment and going against your rights. And what we need, ladies and gentlemen, is we need motorcycle riders to stand up and to fight against motorcycle profiling. We need you to contact your state officials, your congressmen, your senators, your mayors, you know, the people in your legislature. We need you to stand up and tell these people, we're not going to put up with this no more. You know, this is what needs to happen. It really does. Okay, and this is just one of many issues that we at ABATE of Wisconsin fight for our rights to protect. We fight against motorcycle profiling. We fight against the E15 thing right now because the U.S. Department of Transportation, you know, it's hard enough to get these warning stickers because you can't use E15 gas, even if it's 10% alcohol. Not ethanol, but 10% alcohol. You can't use it in a motorcycle. It will ruin the engine. And it takes a lot to get them to put these warning stickers on the pumps. It takes a lot to get them to use separate pumps, which is what they should be doing in the first place, because let's say somebody filled up their car at E15, okay? And it's from just, the pump only has one nozzle. They put it back, well, that lingering E15 sits in the hose. The motorcycle rider comes along, he hits unleaded, he puts it in there. Well, the lingering E15 that sits in the hose is going into his engine, or his or hers, let me say, their engine, and it can ruin the engine. It really can, because motorcycle engines that are air-cooled are not made for E15. And this is why it's important. This is some of the many issues that we talk about in ABATE and that we work with our legislators on. But in this case with the E15, it was hard enough to get these stickers put on these pumps saying, hey, this is an E15 pump. Do not use if you ride a motorcycle. Now the U.S. Department of Transportation wants to water this down, and they want to remove these stickers. You know, we had these stickers, you was set where these stickers were, you know, it'd say E15, it would say in bold lettering, you know, this is not made for vehicles that do not take E15. And now the Department of Transportation, whether it's the State Department or the U.S. Department, they want to water this down, they want to remove these stickers, they want to basically just have it where you pull up and if you put E15 in and ruin your engine, they don't care. It's not theirs, they don't care. We need to stay firm, and we need to tell the Department of Transportation that we are not going to settle for this. They need to label these pumps. They need to have separate pumps for E15. That's what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen. And another thing too, your support, whether you're a motorcycle rider or not, if you support motorcycle rights, your support matters the world to ABATE of Wisconsin, okay? For more information about ABATE, you can go to abatewis.org. Once again, www.abatewis.org. Okay? And you can learn about what we do to protect your rights as a motorcycle rider. We have people who are members who are motorcycle riders. We have people who don't even ride a motorcycle, but they support motorcycle rights and they're a member. We need your support is what we need. Okay? This is important. It's to protect our rights because in instances such as motorcycle profiling, first of all, profiling is wrong in the first place, period. Okay? It really is. You know, whether it's racial profiling, it's motorcycle profiling, profiling anyway is wrong. And a lot of our senators and our Congress people, they're all for stopping racial profiling, but they're not there to stop other forms of profiling. Like we had Congress people who, at first they jumped on board with this. Yeah, we'll get on board, you know, we'll help protect your rights. And then the following year, they just vanished with their support, where they didn't want to support no more. Well, why is it, let me ask you this, why is it you will support a bill to stop racial profiling, but you won't support a bill to stop motorcycle profiling? Okay? And there are many motorcycle profiling surveys out there, okay, that you should fill out. There's one that's going around right now. If you type in motorcycle profiling surveys from the Motorcycle Riders Foundation, there's a national survey going out. It's 5 questions long, takes about 40 seconds to do. And I'm going to tell you, if you've ever been profiled, you need to fill out this survey. Okay? Even if you haven't been profiled, you need to fill out this survey, put your opinions in. But if you've been profiled, you need to fill out the survey. I actually created another form of this survey, which has a few more questions on it that talks about have you been profiled as a rider? Have you been profiled as a passenger? If so, please list details of profiling. Please list the officer's name. Please list the department that did it. Please list the circumstances of the case. Please list why you think you were profiled. Have you been profiled as a non-rider? Let's say you're not a rider and you're just wearing a leather jacket or a motorcycle jacket. Have you been profiled in that way because they thought you were a biker? You know, the more people we can get to fill out these surveys, you know, especially if they're profiled and they provide the details of this, they provide the officer's name, they provide the department, the more case we can build to get laws passed to stop motorcycle profiling. This is something we need to work with our legislators on. We need our legislators to come forward and say, hey, you know what? Motorcycle profiling is wrong. No officer should do it. Now, they kind of did a watered down thing, you know, on a national level, saying, the legislators basically saying, well, we don't think you should profile motorcycle riders. Well, don't think is not the right term for it. There should be a law that says you will not profile a motorcycle rider. Okay? Now, there's a lot of different types of clubs and organizations out there. There's good clubs, there's bad clubs. Okay? But regardless, you should not be profiled as a motorcycle rider just because you are a motorcycle rider. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I said your support in joining ABATE of Wisconsin is important. Okay? I'm not making this video on behalf of them. I'm making this video on behalf of myself because I'm a member of ABATE of Wisconsin. And I've seen, working in the law enforcement field, I've seen how riders are profiled by police officers. As a rider myself, I've seen this as well. And I'm going to tell you, you know, I've joined many motorcycle organizations over the years. I'm a member of ABATE of Wisconsin. I'm a member of the Motorcycle Riders Foundation, which is a larger organization that helps protect the rights of motorcycle riders like ABATE does. It's important that we protect our rights because otherwise this country is going to do like Sweden or some of the other countries. It's important to protect our rights because otherwise this country, the United States of America, is going to do like Sweden or some of these other countries overseas are doing, where they just want to get rid of motorcycles altogether. Okay? We have the right to ride, okay? It's our freedom. And we cannot let the politicians out there take away our rights. This is why we work with legislators to get laws passed. You know, from autonomous vehicles to motorcycle profiling to going back to even in the 70s, the helmet law in Wisconsin. Did you know that as a motorcycle rider in Wisconsin, once you are over the age of 18, wearing a helmet on a motorcycle is your choice? Okay? Some states are not that lucky, like California. California is a state where you're required to wear a helmet, you know, whether you're over 18 or not. In Wisconsin, if you're under 18, you have to wear a helmet, okay? It's the law. If you're over 18 in Wisconsin, you do not have to wear a helmet. It's the law. You have that choice, that personal choice. The people right here at ABATE of Wisconsin are the ones who fought for your choice to wear a helmet or not. Now, when it comes to riding, it's up to each individual person, you know, when they're an adult, if they want to wear a helmet or not. Some people do, some people don't. I myself wear a helmet, but that's my personal choice, okay? That's my personal choice on whether I want to wear a helmet or not. And the thing is, ABATE of Wisconsin fought to repeal the helmet law. They fought for our rights. They fought for our freedom. And this is long before I was a member of ABATE of Wisconsin. I've joined many organizations over the years for motorcycles, from HOG, which is Harley Owners Group, to, you know, Road Guardians and Accident Scene Management, to, which, by the way, that's a really good organization because they teach you about trauma care and what to do if you're in a motorcycle accident or if you come across a motorcycle accident. I keep a trauma kit in my bag just in case I see a motorcycle accident. Plus having a background in the medical field too, this is just another organization I belong to. ABATE of Wisconsin I belong to. The Motorcycle Riders Foundation I belong to. You know, these are all organizations that have given me a vast area of knowledge about the motorcycle world. And the nice thing about ABATE of Wisconsin is you don't have to own a Harley Davidson or be a Harley Davidson rider in order to join it. You know, unlike some organizations like HOG, Harley Owners Group, in order to be a full life member of HOG, or let me take that back. In order to be a full member of HOG, you have to own a Harley Davidson. In order to be a member of ABATE of Wisconsin, you don't even have to own a motorcycle. If you support motorcycle rights, you can join. If you do join, you don't have to own a Harley Davidson. We have many members who own Harleys, they own Hondas, Suzukis, Triumphs, Yamaha, BMW, you name it, they own it. We have riders in our organization all across the state who own different kinds of bikes. And the nice thing about this is you come to this, you're not in this closed-in area where everybody's got a Harley. You're in this open area, open-minded area where you have to talk to people about, you know, the bike they own or this or that, you know, and they give you their feedback and their opinions too. And coming together as, you know, one group of people, you know, we're all riders, okay? We all take the same chance out on the road. And it's important to realize that, you know, if you're going to end up in a motorcycle accident, it's not going to be because of what you're riding, you know. Nobody's going to sit there and say, hey, they're going to go hit that person because they're riding a Honda instead of a Harley. Or somebody's going to say, well, they're going to go hit that person because they're riding a Harley instead of a Suzuki. You know, we're all out there on the road. We all take the same chance. You know, doesn't matter what you ride. It's all the same wind. So, I hope I've been able to share some insight on some of the stuff that ABATE of Wisconsin does. And like I said, it's important, okay? It's important to continue to fight for our motorcycle rights. My name is Joseph Alexander Suchorski, a.k.a. the Polish Panther. And I hope you all learned something today. Thank you, and may God bless you. And as we say when it comes to riding, keep your wheels on the road.